Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're continuing our look at from Wave 3 of Age of the Primes. This is Aerial Bot Skydive. Now, Skydive is a retool of the previously released Aerial Bot Air Raid, who I'll bring in right now just for a quick comparison. And as you can see, there is now this is kind of interesting. When I was thinking about doing this review today, I did have this thought. Whenever we see a retool, it's always a repaint retool. We've seen repaints without retooling, but have we ever gotten a retool without a repaint? That it was just retooled but in the same colors. Just something to think about. Now, as you can see right here, there's a difference now in the chest where Skydive only has one of those ridged areas. The central section where the landing gear is, oh, actually, no, that's the same. It's just now in a glossy black. The waist is the same, just different paint detailing there. The legs, obviously, are going to be the same. That's because of how they're going to combine to this Superior skeleton. But again, it just has to deal with the different paint detail there, what's marked in and what isn't. And of course, different heads. And if we turn around to the back, we're going to have different jet bits. Air Raid had two tail fins, where Skydive only has one, and the wings, and I believe and the nose cones are different. Now you might notice I have the wings positioned differently. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've seen the animation designs, what have you, of Air Raid where the wings are folded all the way back. I have them like that. I just didn't peg them in because that's really for the combined mode. Skydive, I've always seen with the wings out a little bit more. But then again, I'm pretty sure I've seen episodes of the cartoon where there were no wings on the back on any of the aerial bots. So just wait for that, for Takar to do the Masterpiece G of that, where you're going to have that clean transformation. Oh, God. All serious, I think after this release of the aerial bots, we don't need them again. If you want to do new vehicle designs, you want to do like a tribute to the MicroMaster Combiner, that's fine. But I think this is as close as we can get to Masterpiece. I mean, I really don't see, besides making them much more difficult to transform, what a Masterpiece would do. But that's about it for the comparison. Also, obviously, there's new weapons. And Skydive actually looks pretty cool. One thing I do want to say that's hard to convey through the image is that the joints on mine are much tighter than Skydive. Than Air Raid. Skydive, not to say it's like overly tight, and not to say that Air Raid was super loose, but it just feels a little bit better in that regard. And I do have to say again, just point out again with the new weapons, I like how these blasters look. I really think that the Hasbro designers with these last couple of generation lines really should get a little bit more credit that they've been nailing the look of either the original toy or animation style blasters, depending on what would be better, more popular or better remembered, if that makes sense. So enough of all that. Let's get into the transformation. Obviously, it's going to be the exact same as Air Raid, but with Air Raid, I started in jet mode, so we're going to start in robot mode here with Skydive. And just very quickly, right off the top, to point out, as I'm sure I mentioned in the Air Raid review, this figure is a little there's a little transformation you have to do when getting the figure out of the box. The arms are pegged into the side, the legs are pegged together, and the feet are flipped up. So you just need to flip them out like that. One thing I have to tip my hat to is that Hasbro has been very good lately in the instructions, pointing out any pre-transformation steps that you have to do. Traditionally, for a while, they wouldn't do that, and you were getting figures that were like halfway transformed a completely different way, and people were getting lost. But basically, remove the weapons, bring the figure back to a neutral pose, flip the hands in, And it's kind of interesting that they just peg the arms in the packaging without flipping the hands up. I guess because they want to make sure you can see the hands. And then tab them into the side like that. At this point, you can just bring the wings down, and there are little slots that will fit into grooves on the back of the forearm. Rotate the head around, and then unpeg the backpack here, which will be the nose cone of the jet. There's actually 2 points. This one here, that's for the combined mode. And so you want to make sure you grab from that main section, bring it over. It'll snap into place, and then just push it down forward so everything looks fairly level. By the way, I do want to mention, I think I kind of mentioned this when we were reviewing Silverbolt, but I was going to be curious. In the instructions for Silverbolt to form Superion, they only give you the steps on how to combine air raid and slingshot. Skydive and Fireflight, I said it will be interesting to see in their instructions if it's mentioned. It's not. So when we get to the video of forming Superion, it means they basically fold up the same way, but I do find it a little interesting. So now what we want to do is get into what I was talking about with the transformation, and that's bring the feet up like this, tuck them in. There's little they will tab into place on the inside, and then they were brought back down like that. What you want to do is just leave them folded up. So now what you can do is double hinge this back section, and actually the joints on Skydive are just so tight. I actually, if you notice, had to use my thumb and finger to get it into position. And you want to make sure that this gets pressed down. I find it a little bit easier to get this rear section down, and then just bring it forward, and it will tab in right there with the main fuselage of the jet. Nice thruster detail, and then you can just fold up these panels like so. That'll tab into the leg, and if you end up, jostling something, which can happen, go ahead and straighten it out, bring it back in. There we go. Make sure the wings are fine. Bring down these tail fins like so. And on Skydive, he only has the one single centered tail fin right there. Nice pop of blue color there. I really appreciate that. And then come into the chest and robot mode to flip out the landing gear, which kind of help balance the jet a little. I know people complain that there's like a lot of kibble underneath the jet here, but it is what it is. Take the guns, peg them under the wing. Like I said in the other aerial bot reviews, I don't remember the aerial bots ever dual wielding. The original toys did not come with double weapons, but I guess they do that just to like give it that like look, like missiles or something, like an even. I mean, again, I appreciate it. I mean, there's not a lot of engineering going on, and keep in mind that realistically, I mean, and we'll see this more with Fireflight, you are getting you're basically just using 2 molds and getting 4 figures out of it. So there's that. And if you see me fiddling here, I'm just trying to like figure out, like, get this landing gear balanced. It's because it is a little back heavy, and then there's like a balance issue. Yeah, there we go. It'll... Do I not have it pegged in right? Is that the problem? Oh, yeah, I think I did not have something pegged in right, but there you go. Oh, careful when you grab it, and I just want to make sure that the nose cone, the cockpit are all equal, but yeah, I think it's a fairly nice looking jet mode, all things considered. I do not remember what kind of jet this is. I'm sure somebody in the comments will be able to tell us, and while you're doing that, tell us for all the aerial bots. I know Silverbolt was a Concorde. Air Raid was an F-14 because it's basically the Sky Striker. And yeah, so I think I'm going to say this was a Russian jet of sorts. Kind of interesting that it ended up being an Autobot. But yeah, and you know what would be kind of cool if they ever redo the aerial bots? there's enough out there. Just do it as a G.I. Joe crossover and use all the G.I. Joe jets. It's the Sky Striker, the Conquest, the Phantom could be Silverbolt. There's a couple more from the later part of the 80s into the 90s that I think would work well. But yeah, this is not bad. Again, my eyes will sometimes play tricks on me, but nice looking jet. Joints are tight. Now, in terms of recommendation, I mean, you gotta buy it to form Superior. I mean, I don't understand the people that go out and like buy 2 of Air Raid, 2 of Slingshot. It's not gonna look right, and you're kind of then shorting it for like other people who want to get all the aerial bots. So there's that. And again, I just want to point out, like, just looking through the camera, it looks fine, but looking at it from the angle over the camera, it does seem like there's a little bit of a curve there. But then I pick it up from the side and it looks fine. So I don't know. Knowing my luck, I've missed something like snapping into place or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, you kind of need it. I mean, I don't remember any great moments in Skydive history that it's such an important character, but it is a nice looking jet. The black, the gray, the little pop of blue with the gold lightning bolt. I mean, that's really looks good. And as I said in, again, the previous reviews, while I don't think we needed a redo of the aerial bots, I think the Combiner War version was perfectly fine, especially once you got Slingshot. We'll talk about that in Fireflight's review. It was fine. I mean, it looked as close. I mean, you could do things to make it look a little more animation accurate, like rotate the legs around, whatever. But individually, the figures, I think, are much better because even though, again, it's 2 molds retooled into the other two limbs, there is still a lot more new that even then than there it was with Combiner Wars. So, yeah, I mean, these are good, standalone figures. I mean, they're I guess they're as animation accurate as you can get. I mean, obviously, proper animation, you would have a lot of this greebling and detailing not included. It'd be very smooth, like we're getting with the Studio Series 86 Soundwave. But then again, these aren't part of the Studio Series line because they weren't in the movie. Rest in peace, Ron Friedman, by the way. For those of you who may not know, the guy who wrote Transformers the movie and was the idea to kill Optimus Prime, he passed away the other day at 93 years of age. So he lived a full, long life. Better known for doing a lot of work on G.I. Joe, creating a lot of the characters and core concepts there. So, as I said, like a pillar of our childhood. So, that's about it. If you like the review, like, comment, and subscribe. You know the spiel there. I have a Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. Every year, every millennium, dozens of Cybertronians are damaged in a civil war. Can you help them rebuild their lives by donating $1 a month or $12 a year to my Patreon? For every $1, they get a new home, limbs, and a new, better way of life. Won't you help? Sorry, I'm so sorry. In the arms of a herald. Okay, when it's Sarah McLachlan, it's time to hit the stop button, but other than that, play with your toys. It's just more fun that way. This is your old pal Chuck for Skydive. We will see you next time.